Hey everybody, this is James. I just wanted to walk through a few tips and tricks on some of the capabilities that are available in Winshuttle Studio, particularly around how we can get information in the log message differently, how we can use that to make the process easier for document attachments, and then some of the new capabilities that are available in Winshuttle Studio Manager and Evolve. So in this example, I'm going to be walking through how we can really optimize that document attachment process. So I've already created a script, and this one is creating purchase requisitions. And we can see in the log message that it's coming back and saying purchase requisition number, 100 whatnot is created. One of the really handy things that you can do is actually change these log messages so that it only returns the document number. So I'm going to walk through how to do that. So I've already got the script, I've already ran this. So the first thing you want to do is just go into the map screen, go into the properties if you're not already into the properties, make sure nothing's selected over here. Should show you these properties, and go ahead and select this technical log information, turn that extended messaging on, go back to the run tab, go ahead and run it. And so now it's executed again, and I can see that it's a success message. It's message type 06, message number 402. So we're just going to take a mental note of that. Go over here to our map tab, and we'll go to this transform messages, this launch dialog. Go ahead and enter that. We're going to say add. It was message ID 06, message number 402, and message text. So here what we're going to do is just put in an ampersand, and this is actually SAP's way of saying just return back that first variable that we have. So our first variable would in this case be that document number. So we're saying transform that success message into returning only the document number, and we'll say okay. We'll also turn off the extended messaging there, and we'll test this again, and we'll say test. Okay. So now it comes back with only the purchase requisition number, and this is really helpful in the steps that we're going to do next. So we'll go ahead and save this, and now we're going to create a new script. If we want to do document attachments, we'll create this in transaction. A lot of people think that you need to actually walk through the entire process of attaching documents in SAP during the recording in order to use some of this functionality, or they're not maybe aware that we have some out-of-the-box capabilities to do this. So on these, I'll need to use T-code ME52N, and the reason we do that is because to use this feature, the object needs to already exist in SAP in most cases. ME51, ME52N would be one of those cases where we need an object that exists in SAP so we can do the document attachment. So we'll say transaction code ME52N, start my recording. And all we're going to do is we're not going to actually do any document attachments. We just need to have one upload field. So I just do this other purchase requisition. We'll go ahead and select a purchase rec, say OK. And then I just back out. You don't need to do anything else. So you can do long text that way. You can record your attachments scripts that way. Don't feel like it's necessary to actually walk through that process. So once we have that, let's just open up our template that we were already using that we just modified to get back that PR number. Go ahead and scroll over to the right. So our PR number is there, so we can just drag and drop. We're going to say it's going to be in column J, and then we'll say add a file attachment. I have this configured for BDS, so I'll use BDS here. Your document number is going to ask you for the number for the document attachment as well. That's also going to be column J again. And the attachment location here, we're going to use a new feature that's inside of Winshuttle Studio Manager and Winshuttle Evolve. And it actually, if you go out to our help site here, you can see that there's a specific tag that you can use called supporting doc. And what that will do is anytime you're using that basic one-step workflow or Excel workflow, you can actually just capture whatever was submitted as part of that, that entry and automatically attach those into SAP. So rather than giving it a file path, I'm going to give it this tag called supporting doc. Just type that in there. Say OK. And we need to do one more thing to make sure that this isn't trying to execute against every single line, right? So we're really only returning our purchase requisition numbers. If I scroll over to the left, over here for our H rows, because this is the header of that particular purchase rec. So we only want this executing on the H rows, because otherwise we're not going to have an actual document number here. So I can go into expert view. I'm just going to select the entire script. You can just hold, you can click and then hold shift and then click down. And we'll put this whole thing inside of an if condition that says if column A, which is our loop identifier column from the previous script, is equal to H. Just leave it as equal to H. We'll say OK. So now what we're saying is the first script is going to execute and actually create the purchase requisition using ME51. The second script is going to look at only the H rows from the previous script and attach the documents to these specific purchase requisitions that have been identified. So go ahead and let's do a save on this. So ME52N, supporting docs. Go ahead and save that. And now we're going to chain these together so that when the ME51 executes, once those are completed, it'll actually execute all the ME52 supporting document attachments. Okay, so we're going to open up the ME51 script again, and I saved a copy of that one as giving it a new name with linked, so that way we know that this is the one we're actually linking together. So we're going to now go into the run screen, and we're going to click on change scripts, and we'll say all from first script, and we'll say add, and we're going to go select that ME52N supporting documents script that we just created. Go ahead and save that. We're going to save, and now we're ready to actually submit this. So we're going to go and submit this script so that people can start using it on Studio Manager or Evolve. In this one, we have a single script, but we can see that there's actually two different scripts. They're linked together. We'll say ME51 create PR with document attachment. We'll say next and next. And for this review process, we'll have it you can do it a couple different ways, review and post one step. This is using the standard workflow that would allow somebody to submit something. It goes to an approver. Then once the approver actually approves it, it posts to SAP using the approver's credentials. Or we can have it so that I can submit something, it goes to an approver, and once an approver approves it, it actually will post as the submitter's ID. So we can kind of choose there of how we want. So maybe we just want requests going to a centralized team, and then that centralized team is going to be the one responsible for actually posting the data. So in this case, we'll say review and post one step. And for the reviewer, these are the people who are identified in that environment to review scripts. I can set myself as a reviewer, but please know you can always disable that option. We just have it enabled for our demo environment. Our auto run is going to be the reviewer or the originator, depending on what we've selected here. And we'll have it posting to our production system and emailing an attachment when I'm completed. So we'll say next. The supporting document information here, these are really for like job aids, or if you have information about this particular template to help users maybe fill it out, or about this process, you can supply it here so users can see it. Note that this is different than the supporting documents that are actually submitted as part of maybe for a specific purchase requisition in this example. So we're going to go ahead and skip this one and say next. It's just giving us an overview of everything. We'll say submit. and everything's been successfully submitted. So I've submitted it to this script for review. So now as the reviewer, I actually have a task. I only need to do this once, but I can go in, I can see what everything is or what that script is actually doing, what the selections have been made, what selections have been made there. We'll just say looks good for the sake of time. Approve it, and we'll close that. And now we can close down Winshuttle Studio. So at this point, the script has actually been approved by the script reviewer, and it's ready for use in production by any of your Winshuttle runners. So they can open up Excel anytime they want to make a submission request. And we'll log in here. And we have this additional tab, and notice that we were on Studio Manager or Evolve. So we're going to select that. We'll say open a template. This is a transaction data template. And we can see we only have one template available on this particular application. So we'll go ahead and say open. So in this case, I probably should have cleared these out actually before I submitted that template, but I'll go ahead and clear them out here. So we'll leave the data alone. If I wanted to, I can do all my validations, I can do everything. I can't run it directly on a production server, it would give me an error if I tried to do that, but we'll just say that I know what I'm doing here. We'll pretend for a second that I know what I'm doing and submit. And we'll say next. And in this case, we can already see that the workflow process is review and post one step. So it's going to go to that next approver, and there it's going to create under their credentials. And we'll say auto run immediately after approval. We can select to have this scheduled maybe at a later time to do that. And the data file reviewer. So by application, there's a group of people who are designated to say they're the ones who can be script reviewers. So for this particular script, in this particular application, these are the list of people. You may have a finance application, and this list may be full of like finance managers, or you could have a master data application, and this list could be your master data team. So it just really depends on how you'd like to set that up. And we're going to say it's going to go to the production server once it's done. We'll say next. And here's where we're actually going to be providing the supporting documents for this particular purchase requisition. So we're going to say add new. I will go ahead and just grab a couple of these here. Really whatever file types that are supported in your SAP environment should be able to be added here. We'll say next, and this is just a review of everything that we have. We'll say submit, and everything's been submitted. And now because I'm the actual approver, I have a task here. You can see I have a data review task. I'll open that up in Excel. I can review all the information. I can see the supporting documents that they provided to me. I can see the process history of it. I can see who submitted it, when they submitted it, all the information that I need. I can also do my own, validations if I wanted to. In this case, I'll just say approve, and we have it auto run. Been approved by purchasing. We'll say approve. Task has been completed. And now let's go look on Studio Manager itself to actually see what's happening behind the scenes. All right, so I can see that I don't have any current task, but if we look in the processes, actually it's already completed in SAP, so we missed it. If it were still running, we'd actually see it here, but since it's been completed, we can go into the documents, and we'll look at this particular solution was the ME51. We can see it's already been completed. We can select this, and we can look at the process history. We can expand this out, and it's actually capturing, here's who submitted it, here's who it got approved by, here's when they approved it, here's their comments. I can see that the Winshuttle auto run has been executed. So everything's been completed in SAP and when it was completed, and then the process has been ended. So we can go back, I also got an email with an attachment that shows my completed data file, but if I want, I can just open this up and just click it here. Okay. All right, so I can see these are the documents that got created. If I scroll over to the right, I actually have the information about the 2 different attachments that were both successfully attached as well. So I can open this up. Maybe I want to copy that, and I can verify it in our production system now. All right, so it's been created, and I can look at our attachment list. I can see here's the 2 different files that were supported. So hopefully this was helpful. I know that there's a lot of little pieces that got put together into this, but if you're aware of how to do these things, it really can make this process much easier for you down the road. So hopefully this was helpful. Thank you so much. Bye.